Hello, this is Pastor Frank Lewis, and I want to welcome you to another program on how to raise emotionally healthy children. And today I'm going to share some good news with you. I want you to know as a parent that you can raise emotionally healthy children. The truth is, raising emotionally healthy children is one of the greatest responsibilities and privileges you can have as a parent. Emotional health is about you equipping your children with the skills, resilience, and emotional security to navigate life, relationships, and challenges with confidence, empathy, and integrity. That sounds like a really exciting thing, doesn't it? For parents who have not committed to getting their own emotional healing, raising emotionally healthy children, it will be much more difficult. I will tell you why, but before I do, I want you to know about the book that I wrote. The book that I wrote is called The Key, and the key is the key to emotional healing. And this whole series for parents and the series for marriage that I have on my YouTube channel at Fortifying Families 4 is based upon this book. You can get this book on Amazon, and I suggest that you do it because it is going to change your life. I've had so many people read this book and tell me it absolutely changed their lives. And they understood how to get emotional healing. As I said, I have a YouTube channel. It's at Fortifying Families 4, the number 4. And the reason it's that way is because there's other people that have YouTube channels Fortifying Families. But nobody has 19 videos on marriage and 18 videos on parenting. I want to help you, and I can. So let's get started into the truth that when you become you as a parent, become more emotionally healthy because you've made the commitment to do so, it will be much easier for you to raise emotionally healthy kids. You may be thinking, why is it so important for me to be more emotionally healed? The reason is your children absorb or internalize far more from how you live than what you do or what you say. It's how you live. It's the emotional environment in your home. Emotional healing begins with you being more emotionally aware. You need to recognize that being aware of what is causing you problems emotionally is the first step. You need to recognize emotional triggers, unresolved pain, and your patterns of behavior. Your children will observe your tension, your anxiety, and unhealed wounds even when you try to hide them. You need to model emotional self-control because self-control is one of the fruits of the Spirit. It is vitally important to have self-control of your emotions. When you have more control of your emotions, then you can show your children how to express their emotions safely, how to accept personal responsibility for their emotions, how to apologize when they make mistakes, and how to manage being frustrated. Everybody gets frustrated, but it's how do you manage it? And when you model that for your children, it's going to help them. How you can have self-care and compassion for yourself is so vitally important for you to do. Your children will learn boundaries, emotional resilience, and respect for themselves by observing how you treat yourself. How you react to situations is going to help them to know how to react to situations. Your emotional health is the blueprint from which your children learn how to regulate their own emotions. Big problem is parents that have unregulated emotions. The children will then grow up to have unregulated emotions, and it'll be very difficult for their relationships. You need to create a safe emotional environment. Your children will thrive when you acknowledge their emotions and how they are feeling. You validate their emotions no matter what they are feeling, whether it's positive or negative, good or bad. You always validate their emotions. Why? Because that's who they are in that moment. That's what the brain scientists and the behavioral scientists tell us. What we feel is who we are in the moment. So you can affirm them. In addition, you can affirm them for who they are. And please do this. Don't affirm them for what they do, for how they please you or the performance they do. Affirm them for who they are, most importantly. Emotional safety means your children can express joy, fear, sadness, anger without fear of ridicule, shame, or rejection by you as the parent or by your spouse. You've learned to validate their feelings by saying, for example, I see that you're upset. Do you want me to tell you, or do you want to tell me about what upset you? Please don't punish your child for feeling the way they do. If you do, they will not want to tell you how they feel. And they will bury those feelings and emotions, which means that they will then be shut down. They won't be able to express their emotions. And I have 4 groups that I do weekly, and I always asking the people, how does that make you feel? And most people can't tell me how it makes them feel until they've been in the groups for maybe 6 months, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, because people have shut down their feelings because their parents didn't listen to them. And they will not be able to feel. And when they can't feel, they won't be able to have life-giving and good, strong relationships. You can correct behavior. That's what you do. But you don't correct feelings. You need to create predictable routines and consistency so that your children know their environment is secure. Children need to know their environment is secure if they're going to be secure emotionally. A safe emotional environment actually forms the foundation for your children to have good self-esteem, be able to trust authority, and have healthy connections, emotional connections in relationships. Teach your children how to recognize, understand, and express their feelings in healthy ways. That's your responsibility to teach them how to do that. Your children don't automatically get how to express emotions in a healthy, self-controlled way. They must be taught by you how to do this. So you need to encourage your children to have identity and name their feelings, what they are feeling. For example, you can say, are you feeling angry because you broke your toy? They need to realize that it's okay to feel. That's a part of who they are, and it's a part of their identity that's being formed at a very young age. Teach your children healthy ways to express their emotions. Help them know that it's safe to share them with you, that you're a safe person so that they can share them with you. Ask them questions about how they are feeling, or help them name the emotion and ask them if they are feeling that particular emotion. Like I said, are you feeling angry? Are you feeling sad? Are you filled with joy? They need your help. Help your children discover what situation causes certain feelings and emotions to happen. In other words, what are they triggered by? Then lovingly help them to feel comfortable in expressing those emotions. Your children are going to have emotional upset. Help them to be able to share their feelings when they're emotionally upset. It's going to be life-changing, and you're going to be able to raise emotionally healthy kids. If you will share your own feelings appropriately and model for them what to say and do, you will be teaching them self-awareness and emotional resilience. They won't be out of control, and it'll be a blessing for them. For example, you can tell your child, I'm feeling stressed or overwhelmed, so I'm praying and asking God for help. That's a model. That's you being a great model in that way. You need to set boundaries with love, not with fear, but with love. Your children need limits, which are boundaries, to feel safe and secure and be able to understand what is acceptable behavior. You need to enforce rules consistently, enforce rules and boundaries consistently, but with love and compassion, not harshness or anger. I know that's hard. I know that may be difficult, but that is what you're shooting for. That's a goal that you really want to have. Boundaries or limits on your child's behavior help your child or children to learn self-control, self-respect, respect for others, and how to take personal responsibility. You need to avoid being authoritarian and overly controlling. If you are authoritarian, over controlling, you're going to shut them down. You also need not to be too permissive. It's either one or the other. You can't be too controlling. You don't want to be too permissive. You want to be balanced. You can balance your family's rules and structure with gentleness and loving kindness. You can do that. It takes work, but you can do it. Healthy limits or boundaries, well-defined, can provide your children with the internal foundation to manage their frustration, their disappointments. Children are going to be frustrated, they're going to be disappointed, and they're going to have conflicts. You're going to help them to be able to get through those. You need to teach your children empathy and compassion. You need to model compassion and kindness in your interactions with other people. Once you model that, they'll pick it up, they'll absorb it, they'll see it, they'll realize, oh, that's a good thing. Encourage your children to see how what they did caused other children or their siblings to feel in certain ways. Work with them so that they can understand what others are going through. You can ask them, for example, how do you think your friend felt when that happened? How do you think your friend felt when you did thus and so? And always praise your children when they are kind and caring. It will build empathy and compassion. You can read stories, engage in discussions about being kind, thoughtful, and confident, and considerate. Teaching your children how to be empathetic, kind, and compassionate will help your children be able to deal with social and emotional challenges with integrity and honesty. I'll tell you, I deal with a lot of wounded people, and I want to tell you, one of the biggest problems in our world today is having kindness and gentleness, not people-pleasing, but real honest compassion, but then having integrity. Integrity is something that is just not happening a lot for the young people and even other people. I find it all the time. Empathetic understanding also strengthens relationships. Your children will learn how to strengthen those relationships in the future by being compassionate, kind, and empathetic. Now teach your children how to connect with God. That is critical. How to connect with God. You need to consider the truth that emotional health is also spiritual health. Please teach your children that they are loved and valued by God unconditionally, without conditions. They're valued for who they are, not what they do, by God, just like they need to be valued and loved and accepted for who they are, not what they do, by you and your spouse. Help your children understand that God has a plan and a destiny for their life. They're valuable. They are extremely valuable. Encourage prayer, gratitude, and reflection on God's faithfulness to you and to your children. When they are young, read them Bible verses and Bible stories and help them understand lessons from the Bible, from those stories, from scriptures that are age appropriate. Help them to learn about who God really is and how he treats the people and his faithfulness. Because your children will grow up having a great relationship with God, and that's what you want. And it's really important. You need to model to your children your own reliance on God. Yes. When you have challenges and your own struggles, have them be a part of your prayer time. Let them listen to how you pray to God. Teach them how to pray for what they believe is important to them. Teach them how prayer is talking or communicating with God, like he is a good father. He is a good father, but you need to model that. It's very, very important. Help your children to know their identity is rooted in God. Teach them that they are children of God and dearly loved by him. Help them know their identity does not come from performance, that they need to earn God's love and God's approval. Help them to understand that a spiritual foundation anchors emotional resilience and gives your children an understanding of their purpose in life. Everybody has to have purpose. The biggest question that I deal with adults on is, do I matter to anyone? To my wife, to my kids, people are always asking that. Well, God says you do matter. And you want your kids to know that God considers them valuable, important, and he loves them. You need to also respond to your children with consistency, not perfection. Please get this, it's really important. If you demand perfection of your children, you will have very unhappy, constantly disappointed children, because no one can be perfect. You can't be perfect, your spouse can't be perfect, your children can't be perfect, nobody can be perfect. Okay? Only Jesus was perfect. We can be like him, but we can't be perfect. So be consistent in rules and guidelines and expectations and your emotional responses. You don't want to be harsh, but you don't want to be too permissive. You want to be balanced. Be patient with yourself and your children, teaching them emotional regulation. What is it like to have self-control? Model it for them. You need to have self-control before you can pass it on to them, before they can absorb it from you. So please, teach your children the guidelines. They can understand their own experiences. They need guidance. They need your help to understand their own experiences. Help them to feel what they're feeling very openly and honestly in their communication with you when they have experiences that are disappointing, that are frustrating, that cause them anger. even cause them joy. You want them to just be able to openly express their emotions. You can help them by asking questions like, what happened? How did it make you feel? In every group I do, I'm always asking people, how did it make you feel, that are adults? You get this done with your children, they won't have to be in a group later on with a facilitator like me, a leader like me, asking them, how does it make you feel? Because they will feel. And you can also ask them, what can you do differently next time? This can be a teaching moment, but you're not harsh and you're not being controlling. It's so vitally important that you be kind and gentle with your children. You can provide your children with suggestions for dealing with different emotions. They can talk about what they are feeling. They can even color. Make it easy for them to talk about what they're feeling. Get down on their level. Get down on one knee if they're real small. Look them in the eye. Tell them, I want to hear what you have to say. It's important to me to hear what you have to say. They can color their emotions, and they can even learn breathing techniques. You can show them how breathing will help them come down from their emotional trigger or emotional upset. It will help them to be able to have self-control. You can normalize mistakes and failures as opportunities for learning and growth. You don't want them to be upset because you got upset when they didn't do things just right. You don't want that, because then your children will live not willing to take risks, not willing to be able to make mistakes. And you can't be successful in life unless you can make mistakes. Now, you also need to lead your children with love, not fear. Please do this. It's so vitally important. The key to raising emotionally healthy children is for you to love them unconditionally to the best of your ability. I know it's hard. It is hard. I didn't do a great job in raising my kids. I wish I'd have done better. I wish I'd have known what I'm telling you. That's one of the reasons I'm doing this, is because I didn't get these results, and I deal with literally hundreds of peoples over the years that their parents didn't do what I'm telling and suggesting for you to do. Love them unconditionally as best you can. You need to demonstrate your love for your children by being present. That's what I mean by getting down on one knee. Don't try to talk to your children when you're on the phone, when you're on your cell phone. Don't try to talk to them when you're making dinner. Get alone with them, or one of them at a time, and talk to them by being present, because you will tell them how much you love them. You will show them how much you love them, because they'll absorb the fact that you care for them. And you need to listen intentionally to what they're saying, and you need to let them express their emotions. Give them your undivided attention through your words and your actions, by making what they say very important. Do not be a parent who controls your children through fear, shame, and anger. Don't put them down because they made a mistake. Don't punish them. Whatever you do, please don't punish them for making a mistake. If they need punishment, do it lovingly. I'm going to have a whole video in the future on punishment. How does God punish us? And so that you will know how to punish your children, or how to correct, not punish, correct. Please, not punish. You need to affirm your children's worth regularly, all the time, regardless of their behavior, performance, or achievement. Please don't set unrealistic expectations. I see this all the time for them, and demand that they meet your expectations, what you want them to do that makes you feel better as a parent. Please don't do that. Just set realistic, God-centered Expectations. Teach and model with your words and actions that love and acceptance are not earned, they are given freely by you as they are by God. When your children feel unconditionally loved, they develop confidence, emotional security, and the capacity to love themselves and others well. I want you to know your role as a parent is powerful. You and your spouse chose to have children, and you want to be a good representation of who God the Father is for his children. You're one of them. Now do that for your children. Raising emotionally healthy children requires more than rules and discipline. It requires that you be aware, intentional, be consistent in helping your children learn to express their emotions in a healthy way. In order for you to be the best parent you can be, it requires you being intentional about getting your own emotional healing, get your wounds healed, so that you can model emotional resilience and self-control and force boundaries with love and compassion. In this way, you will root your children's identity in love for you and for God. When you do what I'm suggesting for you to do, as a parent, you will be committed to getting your own healing, get emotionally healthy children, and provide them resilience in the face of difficulty, empathy, compassion for others, self-understanding, and the capacity to love. Have healthy, life-giving relationships. Raising emotionally healthy children takes commitment and you doing personal healing work that will be transformational for your children. You're not just shaping their behavior, you're shaping their identity, their hearts, their futures, and especially their relationship with God. When you do and have a commitment to intentionally do this, you're going to be able to raise emotionally healthy children, and God will be pleased, you will be pleased.